Hello everyone, welcome back to another video in how to draw cars. In this video, we are going to learn how to draw a hatchback. So let's get started. Alright, so before we begin to just start sketching an hatchback, first let us understand the basic proportions of a hatchback car. And if you follow along this video, you will be able to draw a sketch something similar to this. Ignore all the shading, the rendering and all, but a line diagram that looks like a hatchback is quite possible. So first let us begin by studying the wheelbase of a hatchback. So all hatchbacks typically have a 2.5 wheelbase and 2 times or 2.5 wheels as the height of the car. So let's first go ahead and draw it. So I'll just use my circle guide to just keep this drawing nice and clean so that you will be able to follow along. Alright, so I'll just use my the biggermost circle and I'll make a circle. Great. Now just draw a ground line. Now let us draw a wheelbase of 2.5 wheels. So there's one, then there's 2, and then there is 2.5, and over here let us draw our front wheel. So this is our front wheel and this is our rear wheel. Right? This is the absolute starting point of drawing any car for that matter, no matter hatchback. So if you just study this, this is known as the wheelbase, that is the distance between the front wheel and the rear wheel, and this distance is called as the overhang, meaning how much car is front of your wheels, and here how much car is behind your rear wheel. So this is typically half a wheel, right? So there's no need to measure this. You can just put out a marking like so. It's not visible, but it's all right. And over here, something over here. Now when it comes to the height of a hatchback, it's typically 1 wheel high or 2 wheel high. If you're drawing a concept car, it's always good to just keep the height of the car a bit low so that it gives a nice sporty feeling to the car. Alright, so our height should end somewhere over here. So this will be our roof line, this line over here. I hope you can see it, right? So now what we are going to do is first establish the hood line of the car, meaning this one over here. So if you take this point over here, this is ideally about 3/4 the distance from your wheel, meaning if this distance, if you take let's say this is half over here, and it should be slightly above it over here, and this line should always, the hood line can start at the end of this wheel over here, so somewhere over here. So this is where the hood and the windscreen will meet, right? So where does the hood end? So we have already kind of established the front overhang of the car, which is somewhere over here, and we can just roughly take half the distance and come over here and draw a line like this, as simple as that. Next we have to tackle the windshield. Now where should the windshield end? Typically it should end at one wheel, meaning if this is your wheel, just go over here somewhere here, just go up and here. So just draw like this. Great. Now just draw a roof line, and your rear windshield should, in all the cars, it should typically end at the center of your rear wheel. See over here. So this is the center of your rear wheel. Go up and over here. You can give it a slightly slanted roof like this, and just extend little bit so as to give a roof spoiler. Okay, so this is the extreme rear point of our car over here, and let's say this is half the wheel. Slightly above it, just draw a steep angle, something like this, or maybe a little bit less. Yeah. So now we are beginning to give our car a basic shape. I hope so far it's quite clear, right? Don't darken any of the lines as of now, just keep it as light as possible. So next step would be to draw the floor of the car. If you want to draw a very sporty car, keep the floor of the car nice and low. Typically, if this is half the wheel, typically somewhere over here, like half or like 1/4 here, and try to draw a slanted line, meaning don't draw a line which is perfectly horizontal to the ground plane. Make it a little bit tilted like this. Right? Great. Next step is to tackle the front portion of our hatchback. So typically what we need to do is just extend this line, go slightly above it, and just draw a small line, give some feature like this, and slightly above your wheels just drop in a wheel arch, and I'll just maybe draw something like this. Just make a nice feature line over here. Now let us draw the headlamps. So take this end point of your hood and give it a nice aggressive looking headlamp. And take this out a little bit. Yeah. All right. Now here, let us draw DRL, daytime running lamps, and let us make some feature lines over here. Alright, so this looks fine over here. The front end of the car is more or less finished. Okay, great. Now what we need to do is draw in the window line of the car. So just take your windshield line and just in some gap, just follow along the same line and draw your window line. And for this demonstration, I'm going to create my window line something like this. And remember that your window line should end somewhere in front of the middle of the rear wheel, somewhere over here. And make this line also slightly slanted so that it gives a nice sporty look to the car. So now it's time to draw the rear part of our car. So this is where the bumper is going to end, slightly above your wheel. Just make some surface transition. Just come a little bit inside, drop a line like this. Great. And this is where your rear windshield line will be. Here we can now draw a tail lamp. Alright, so our car is more or less complete. Now to give it a bit more professional look, we are going to add a bit of details to the car. Now most of the guys would just stop at this point and they'll just give up, but don't do that mistake. We're going to add a little bit of details to it. First thing is that we're going to add some highlight elements over here. If you just notice the cars, you're going to have a small surface transition over here where the surface is pointing upwards. That's the first one. And when you just see the side panel of the car, it's not just a flat surface, it's more curvy, meaning over here it's going to go inside a little bit, and over here it's the surfaces is going to face up, and you're going to see a nice reflection over here, and you're going to represent that by just drawing a line like this. This is where the horizon of the sky or the horizon will be reflected. Next we are going to draw some door cut lines where the doors will open. So before that, let us make another small surface transition over here. Then like this, and the doors will follow like this. So when you're drawing a cut line, don't draw a straight line like this, because this surface over here is curved, remember? So just draw a nice curved line like this, and over here just get it out, because this surface is going up, and over here again it's going down. Perfect. And here we will have something called as a B-pillar. If you followed my previous videos, you know what I mean, all these terminologies. So just draw a nice thick B-pillar over here, and remember, even here don't draw straight, it's curved, so it should have that curvature to it. And same thing over here, and nice up some door handle, and over here it's time to draw the rear door. Alright, our sketch is more or less complete. And one final step that you should not miss is to give this car some stance, meaning this is a car and this should be on the ground. We are not designing aeroplanes over here. And to just emphasize this car even more, what we need to do is add some ground lines over here and just emphasize the wheels of the car. So this is how you're going to do this. So just grab your circle template and just grab a nice black marker, a thick black marker, and add some thickness to your wheels. Great. Now next step is to draw a strong ground plane. Now there is one more important step over here, which is to show the wheels on the other side. So to do that, just take your base plane, which I should darken as well. So this is the floor of the car, which I'm darkening right now. Right? And then just over here, just make some tick mark like this, and then just fill in this area. Now it's having some stance, and to just accentuate the elements a little bit more, 1 second, just use a tracing sheet, because if you don't, you're going to ruin the sheet underneath. Alright, to just give the wheels a bit more definition, so I'm going to grab a C5 marker, a Copic marker, and then just and then I take a C3 marker and then just paint only the inside or the top portion of the wheels. I will make another detailed video on how to render the car, but for this demonstration just concentrate on the line work and how to draw the basic lines and study the proportions of a hatchback. I hope this video was helpful for you. If it was, please click on the like button and subscribe to my channel. I have a whole bunch of content planned ahead, so make sure you hit the notifications bell. And what else can we do over here? Nice pillars, right? And then we're going to use a C1 marker and then just throw in some reflections over here. Remember, do not touch this highlight portion because this is where the light will be reflected, right? Give it a little bit more. Okay, one more step. That's great. And now for that final punch, what I'm going to do is just add some gradient to our window lines. Like this. And I'm going to use a blue color marker to show some reflections in the sky. Alright, that is looking good. Now let us add some tiny details. This, and let us add some definition to our headlamps. And to make your sketch pop a bit more, just remember to darken the areas which are at the bottom of the car. And what else to do? Yeah. And we're going to add some reflections to our car. Before that, I'll make the B pillar a bit more dark. And I'm going to use this white gel pen. And I'm going to hit some of the areas like this, where I know the light will be reflected and creates a strong highlight. Not in many places, just a few dabs of it. Alright, I think that's it for this video. If you have any comments or feedback, or if you want me to make a video on any particular topic of your interest, please let me know in the comments down below. I'll make sure to cover those topics in my future video. So until next time, see you around and keep on sketching. Happy Inktober. See you everyone. Bye bye. Take care.